Okay, so let's create a new component of our own. So there's a few ways of doing this. One way is to come in here and we can add new item, I'm guessing. Let's see if it lets us. Does it let us? Am I going to be mistaken? Am I going to be proven wrong? No. So we've got AngularJS controller. We're not going to worry about that. AngularJS directive. No, this would be a misnomer. AngularJS is the name for the older version of Angular, right? It is not Angular that is in this application. We are using Angular. AngularJS is the older version that was built in a very different style and functions very differently. It used controllers, directives, and factories, which we don't use in here, right? We use modules, components, services. It's a very different way of thinking about things. And if you include one of them, it will go a bit crazy. So it looks like there's no Angular tooling inside of Visual Studio for right now. So how else can we add a component? Well, we can add it by hand, right? So we can say here, right click, add, and we're going to folderize it to keep it clean, right? We're going to call this we're going to call this random number. And so we're going to right click, add, new item. And it doesn't matter what we select here, okay? Right now, it really isn't going to matter because we're going to rename it. So we might as well go with text file. And we're going to call this random number.component.ts. It's blank. Let's just finish it out. Let's add the rest of it. New item. Text HTML page. It can be HTML page, but it's not really going to matter. I'm going to call this random number.component. Again, just to keep the naming convention in place. HTML. And then we want to delete what's in there and show random number. Okay. But now we don't have a component because we just got a flat text file. So let's open up another component. We know it's pretty simple, like good out of the box. Fetch data is a bit complicated. Let's not use fetch data. Let's use home. Home. Perfect. Simple. So we're just going to copy that. I'm going to paste it in here. I'm going to change the relevant parts. I'm going to call this random number component. But I called that random hyphen number component. Well, it turns out Angular will deal with this. It will when you're creating components yourself, it will actually do things like this for you. So it makes it a little easier. We'll show that in a minute. Okay, we're going to change this random hyphen number, and this app is going to be app random number. Okay, there we go. Where do I access my random number? Do I want it in my menu? Let's go to our menu. Look in here. Oh, yeah, we can do this. So let's do li class equals nav item. So these are styles that are already included as part of a framework called Bootstrap. Bootstrap is being used by this default template to do the styling and make it look nice and fancy. Okay. Router link active equals, and you got to delete the automatic double quotes because we need to break out and get the double quotes inside to be what's the word? Idiomatic This is idiomatic Angular in the style of them. This is what's indicating this is an Angular piece, right? So there's two sets of brackets you'll notice in most Angular stuff. Square braces and parens. And I believe Angular square braces mean set, parens mean get. So it's which direction Angular is going to read it. Okay. When you use square bind to bind an input, it's basically a template expression, right? So it's going to gather that. Yep. Right, so we're going to bind router link active to link active. Right. If it's two-way, you'll see parens as well. You'll see parens around something as well, right? It's quite confusing. It might be that way. But you don't need to worry about that for right this second. Just say it's worth looking up. Nav link, text, dark, router link equals, I'm going to call this random number. Random number. Let's save that. Jump back to our application. It's loading. Huzzah! Click. Click. What? Fetch data works, but random number doesn't. So let's hit F12. Oh. Cannot match any routes. Random number. Okay, so let's go back. So routes are defined in app module. Yep. So here we have our router module. We covered this earlier on. Let's go and follow the pattern. So if we have path random number and we want a component and we have random number component is what we called it, right? So my apologies, you saw a tool that you shouldn't really have seen there because it's helping me do something that you won't have by default in Visual Studio. We need to import that component. That's the part that's missing. That's what it just offered to do for me. So I'm going to import random number component. And these are all relative paths that we're going to provide here. Okay, so this is the same as you're using in C#. It's saying, hey, I need this thing to do my job, right? I'm declared somewhere else. That's what a using statement in C# does when you use it at the top of the page. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to go into /random number. Then we're going to do random number.component. Our squiggle goes away. This all works. Our page is loading. Uh-oh. Random number is not part of any ng module, or the module has not been imported into your module. Ooh. But I had this. I got that there. Declarations. There we go. We've got to declare it. We've got to tell Angular that we know about it. Let's see if that helps. Huzzah! Do we have random number? We have random number. Job done. Ship it. Huh. Okay. So we need to do something, right? Let's add I never trust W3 schools. I always go to MDN, developer.mozilla.org. Bit more clean is from the people that make Firefox, and no ads, no crap everywhere. Math.random times floor. So we're going to be sneaky. We're going to take that straight away. So, but I've just copied a JavaScript function, and I said that TypeScript will work with JavaScript, which is technically not incorrect. However, TypeScript is going to complain about it because the tooling is saying, I don't like that. So let's do that. That declares a function. Let's create it public. This is the tooling doing that. JavaScript would have, TypeScript transpiler would have probably allowed that, but the tooling in Visual Studio is preventing me from doing it because it wants to stay in idiomatic TypeScript. Okay, so we're gonna say get random int. Great. We need to have something to do that in. So we're going to create a button, and it's going to be a button, and on click it's going to say get random int. Let's do 10. Let's do 100. Boat out there. Okay, and click me. Let's just close this for now. Huh. Huh. Why is this button blue? My button's grey. Huh. First things first, let's fix the styling. This is a class on it. These are Bootstrap classes to style the button. Primary. There's danger and info. Oh, click me, info. Functionality is still not there. What does random int do? Just copied and pasted it from a site. It returns a number. Oh, but I don't want it to return because I can't do anything with it. So we need to set var result. I want the result on the page. Your number is Angular curly braces. That's how we put things out. Result. Your number is not working. No errors. Okay. So the problem is, this is local. It's a local variable in this method. It is not in Angular. It's just a variable in a method. So to get it into Angular, we need to do public result, and we give it a type. The reason we give it a type is so that Angular will help us, or rather TypeScript will help us by helping us figure out, oh, that's the wrong type, this is the wrong type, that shouldn't fit there, I did this wrong, that shouldn't fit there, I did this wrong, right? It's to help us. And now this is still a local variable because we're saying var result equals. So now we need to say this dot result equals math.floor. Now they're bold. right? Because now it's showing us that this is this variable. So now when I go back, 50, 72, 57, 60, victory. It's working. Time to commit. We updated our home component. We dropped the text out of that. We updated our nav menu to add our link to our random number. We added our new component and we updated our app module. We also added files into the project, which is why that's changed. So, commit message. Added new component, random number, and updated navigation. Removed text from home. Commit all. Save yes. Created locally. So now we have no changes staged. If we were stuck, we could remove all the other changes and get back to this point. With me so far?